My name is Alex, and I am breaking code silence. In October of 2004, which would have made me 16 years old, I was kidnapped and sent to Tranquility Bay, Jamaica, which is a WASP program school. In case you don't know what that is, you might have to do some research. They say it's like a behavioral therapeutic type school for troubled teens. So I guess I was a victim of the troubled teen industry. So I was kidnapped by two people I had never seen before, a big man and a smaller-ish woman, handcuffed because I thought I was actually being kidnapped, especially because at that time, hanging out with some unsavory types of people, I thought, oh my God, this is it. I'm going to die. So I fought these people, obviously, and I wasn't really in a state of mind to like process or think, oh, well, these people are telling me that they're taking me to a program or school or whatever. Handcuffed because I was fighting this 6'4", 250-pound man. The handcuffs started cutting into my skin, so I was bleeding pretty good, screaming, crying, begging for my mom, who was home early from work that day. Oddly so, actually, she got there while I was being kidnapped at the bottom of the basement stairs, where I was screaming and pleading with her to help me, but she didn't. And continuously fighting these people and trying to get put into their car, they drugged me with something. I don't exactly know what. And later on, I came to. I was at the Sheraton Hotel in Los Angeles before being put on a plane. I begged for a phone call to let the boy that I was dating at the time, let him know that I don't know when I'm coming back, if ever at all. Still not really understanding what's going on. Flight to Jamaica is long, and I was asleep because, drugs, and woke up, looked around. I was like, oh my God, where am I? And the first person I saw coming off the plane, I was just like, where is this? Where are we? And she was like, you're in Jamaica. And I was like, what? Oh my God, what is going on? You know what? I didn't even have a passport. In fact, I found my old passport, and it says that I got this passport while in Jamaica. The date and the signature and everything. I'm not actually going to show you all the information, but yep. So how is that possible? I mean, I don't really know how all that works, but that just doesn't sound right. Like you're leaving the country for indefinitely. You'd think you need to have the passport beforehand, but again, I was a minor, so maybe they did do it. I don't know. But the picture was taken in Jamaica, so that's odd to me. Look at that ugly picture. Anyways, so I get there. I said it's a long drive because St. Elizabeth Parish is in the boonies, and driving, I'm like, oh my God, this is not happening to me. What is, whatever. Get there, the nurse, and there was 4 people in the office. They had me stripped down naked, and being a survivor of sexual assault, it was not easy for me in front of strangers that I didn't know to get butt naked, have them, check you everywhere, as if it was jail. And even thinking about it, that was my first incident with getting restrained on the first day there, because I was refusing to get naked. I was terrified. I didn't want these strange women putting their hands all over me. Yeah. So threatened, checked me, held me, restrained me. Welcome to Tranquility Bay. So that was the first experience. Then to learn about, the rules. give me a program chick, one that is level 6. I never made it past like level 1 or 2. I couldn't really fall in line. I didn't understand. Every time we were told that it was therapy and you shared about an experience or something that happened in your life that was traumatic, that maybe led you to do some things that you probably shouldn't have, I was told that it was a lie, that because I'm American and white, that it's all BS. It's not real, that I was making it up. Every day you had to sit there at mealtime and listen to like tapes of, it was like brainwashing. Like you had to listen to these tapes. It was never not playing. I swear it's like Tony Robbins and someone else was always playing, and it just like dehumanizing. Raise your hand to stand up. Raise your hand to sit down. You're not allowed to speak to anyone until you're a higher level program, which again, that is like just bizarre because we're teenage girls. We can't talk to each other. When some of those rules were getting broken, they would tell you to assume the position, lay on your face so they can hog tie you, twist you up, and sit on you. You could be sent to OP and lay there for months, weeks, lay on your face, talk back, do anything. If you weren't going to go listen to tapes and do, or self-correction sheets, if you weren't going to do those, like, you're going to get restrained. And it was too much. It was too much. Between like the making you think that you're crazy and the physical part of it, is you don't really know how to deal. I didn't know how to deal. And they would tell your parents, like, they're going to write you letters, they're going to tell you things. Don't listen to it. It's lies. They're just saying that because they want to go home. What about the fact that the tuition, you can apply for a Sallie Mae federal loan for a school loan, a federal school loan, to be sent to these places that are not regulated, where you can literally get beaten and abused and tortured for days on end. And, the tuition started at, like, I think my parents paid $45,000 to be sent there. Then they got bills for dentist visits and things. I never saw a dentist. The one time I saw a doctor was because I had a horrifying kidney infection and had to be sent there. I begged the doctor, please help me. Call my parents. Like, I'm being treated poorly. I'm not drinking enough water. Like, and I already have health issues with my kidneys and bladder. Help me. And he just, like, completely ignored it. I was like, you know what? When the location of the place is, like, the only job that these people could have, that's why. Like, they took untrained, certified, like, regular people that just needed a job because that part of Jamaica is, like, not affluent. That's for sure. You take that type of people, they're going to do anything to keep their jobs and keep that part of the economy alive. And they did. They did anything and everything that they could. The other thing that like really blows my mind is that they had a counselor that would come from the States. And actually, one of my counselors was from Southern California. And I used to beg and plead with her to help us. Like, they're, the drugging, the physical abuse, like the treatment. Can you help me? The letters that I was getting from my mom and dad, it was like, well, you better learn to deal with it because you're not coming home. And in the program, when you get letters like that or you see things like that, it just destroys you a little more because all the other letters and all the other, things that are happening, you're like, why is no one listening to me? Why am I alone out here except for the other girls? Which even then, some of them, program life is good enough for them. And, they graduate the program and do the little beach trips or whatever, get to be in a room where they have a radio and talk to each other. Some people it works. I don't think it worked for the majority, considering all these survivor groups now that we're in. I could be wrong. Whatever. I hope it works. To each their own, but you beg and plead for help, and no one listens. No one. When I saw, like, the girls that I was close to being restrained, it, like, triggered something in my head, because I have always been a fighter, and I have always, like, had this broken wing syndrome where it was like, saving everyone else, but you can't save yourself. And I won't use any of their names, but, like, once I saw that and I would hear their screams, it was just, like, it was hurting me. So, started getting in fights. Started passing notes in our group sessions. After being restrained in the laundry room by Mrs. Graham, who's fat and heavy, and she was newer, so she didn't even know what she was doing. Not that any of them did. And she cut my face up in the jagged rocks during group. I had decided, like, that's it. I need to get out of here. Not that that wasn't my first thought from the minute I got there, but, like, I tried at first. I did. I tried. I was like, okay, well, at least I'm not, on the streets, or I'm not, overdosing in a ditch somewhere, whatever. And I tried. So, pass notes. Tell certain people, like, we shouldn't take this abuse from the staff. Like, we need to do something about it. And they started, the facility started hiring outside security. Okay, so Jamaican companies, security, these people have no business being in a school. They had no business, like, guarding us and then girls started getting molested and touched in their bunks, and they hired outside people. And that was it. That was the tipping point. So one night I was like, you know what? When we go to sleep, if you can, sleep with a broom, sleep with a mop, whatever. And then we're going to mess shit up. We're going to mess stuff up around here and get some attention drawn on this place so somebody will help us. Didn't work out so well. And in fact, they took the girls that were co-conspirators and of this riot and put us in the school section. And in the school section, we went kind of crazy. We wanted revenge. So, you tear up the school, you do whatever you can. They didn't feed us for a while. And then, at one point they were, like, coming in the middle of the night filming, wanting us to go crazy so that they could send it somewhere as proof. And yeah, they decided one day, that I was the ringleader. Every once in a while, because if you ran and jumped in the pool, the staff was coming in with you. So on a daily occasion, I at least tried to jump out that window and have Mr. Nation and Miss Nation and all of them chase me down to the pool. I jump in. They have to jump in their uniforms and their walkie-talkies and whatever. So I did get, a little bit of satisfaction out of that. But I mean, that's, like, such a small, like, minute detail. Like, I'm so, they forced me to call my parents. I told them, I was like, I told you, things are bad here. Like, they're abusing us. And, well, you need to stick it out. It's like, you're not listening to me. And my guess is that some of those letters didn't even go out of the mail, because they have had, they have been accused of that before. Yeah. So, brainwashing, yeah, get put in the school, decided I'm somebody. Then they removed me and put me in a separate room. So I went crazy because now I'm away from the people that I was with, the girls that I was with, because we actually were like normal teenage girls for a little bit there, braiding hair, singing songs, talking, being like normal. It was normal compared to like the past like 10 months of complete insanity. So then they separated me. I had no idea what was going on. At least like, I don't know, 3 times a day. Some bigger guy, and I later found out his name was Jesus, would come in and restrain me, fight me, physically fight me, a grown man, fight me, get me to the ground, restrain me. And until they thought that I was like subdued enough, then they would, leave. So that happened on a daily occurrence for a while, for at least like a week. Finally, the last night of my stay there, unbeknownst to me, JK came to see me and pretty much tell me what a horrible piece of human garbage I am, and that I'm being kicked out of the program, and that he hadn't had a girl kicked out yet. At least that's what he said. He could have been lying. I don't know. And this is kind of where I have this recurring nightmare, and it's like the most horrific part was because JK is standing there. We have staff, not to mention like, Nursey was coming in like every other day or every night trying to give you like Seroquel and drugs that you're not prescribed to try and knock you out and try and get everyone to calm down, hold you down, like put a funnel in your mouth and try and get you to swallow it. That's not even the worst part. That is in my nightmares. But so last night, JK is standing there. Jesus is in there. Some other people are in there. What the heck was that one guy's name? Mr. Barron? I can't remember, but he's there. He was always like a really scary one. I tried not to get restrained when he was around because it was awful. But so JK's there telling me all this stuff. Jesus and this other person grab me, throw me to the ground. I hit my face pretty hard. They lay me out like with my arms straight out. And Jesus gets his knee into my left elbow. He puts his knee there and he snaps it. And so now I'm screaming and crying. And then the next day I'm put on a plane looking like a Dalmatian, and I'm flown out of Jamaica. I'm flown out of TB. There's nothing easy about that place. There are other schools in the United States like Cross Creek and Warm Springs and Provo and like different types of places that you could go to. But when you get kicked out of those places, they send you to Tranquility Bay. My parents paid more money, close to $55,000 total, to send me there because these people told them like, oh, she'll run away. She'll get away. She'll get away and then we'll never find her. So you need to put her on an island. You need to get her, here. Some of the therapies that was endured there was more painful than actually being restrained. I don't know how many girls had to do this. I don't know how many boys had to do it, or, if their therapist made them do the, hypnosis type of therapy where they made you relive some horrifyingly traumatic experience and then didn't give you therapy afterwards. Literally picking off a scab, now it's bleeding, then throwing you back in a program where you're verbally abused on a daily basis and physically abused, told you're a liar, told you're no good, that your parents don't love you. That's why they sent you there, that was their way of getting rid of you, which to some degree, it definitely does feel like you're like a burden. And they make you believe it while you're there, that you were a burden to your parents and this was their solution. An expensive one at that. The therapy. You know, there were things that I had not even, there are things that I saved myself from remembering that were brought up at TB, which is part of the reason why I couldn't control my behavior, because I was angry and frustrated and alone. And, you know, an injured animal is the most deadly. And that's exactly how it feels. That's what it felt like. I didn't have a good experience in the program. I do feel, however, that I have made lifelong connections and friends with other people, other girls that are in the program, which I am very much grateful for. But, you know, sadly, it's just not enough. It's not enough to justify it as like, oh, well, at least it's not. It just isn't. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Ever. I can never get the faces of the staff members out of my head. Now, and not all of them were awful. I won't say that. But, you know, if you put your hands on me during that time, then yeah, I think the worst of you as a human being. And this is Breaking Code Silence.